Alright, so this is a video of me explaining what happens when the North Node Rahu comes into conjunction with Saturn in your birth chart. So, very briefly, what is the North Node? The North Node represents an area of your life where the soul has like the least experience with. It represents an area where you need to focus on in this lifetime, and because you don't have that much experience, the soul doesn't have likely doesn't have that much experience in that area of your chart. You will make a lot of mistakes in that area of your life with wherever North Node is placed. The North Node is known as a shadow planet. It is an eclipse. It's not a physical planet. It's a position. It's a point in outer space that when either the sun or moon transit it at the right, the right degrees or right moon phase, you get an eclipse. So wherever the North Node or South Node is at in your chart, darkness comes over that area of your life. Darkness comes over that planet. It becomes shrouded. Rahu's associated with illusions. Rahu's associated with, it blows up and amplifies the qualities and traits of the house and sign that it's in. It's a planet that has a head without a body. So this represents like insatiable desires, because if you keep eating or consuming stuff without no stomach, without no body, well, then you're never getting full. You're never getting satisfied. You just want more and more and more, and just want to keep consuming and consuming. And the North Node, the nodes, they are associated with a lot of things that I could go make a whole hour video, which I've already done before, talking about. So with that being said, let's focus on now, what is Saturn? Saturn represents paternal uncles. Saturn represents delays, obstacles, diseases, isolation, separation, imprisonment, time, elderly people. I can't think of anything else that Saturn could naturally represent. Saturn is a significator of karma, actions that you must take and things you must do and pay off in this lifetime. So what happens and Saturn also represents servants. So what happens when these two come into conjunction? Well, a lot of things can happen, actually. There's many different ways that you can slice and dice and interpret this. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I wasn't able to really find anything of substance through YouTube videos or through books that I've read when it comes to this conjunction. So I said, these definitions are pretty mediocre, so I'm gonna come up with my own goddamn interpretation and think hard and long about what happens, just like I did with my Nakshatra videos. Anyway, in my opinion, with this conjunction, one of the things that it shows is that you have to begin to pay off a karmic debt in this lifetime, because Saturn is the karma, Saturn is the debt, and Rahu is the new beginning. It's the journey of the soul. It's the new beginning and journey of the soul, where you have the least amount of experience in. So it shows that you was born in this lifetime to begin to pay off this karmic debt, to begin to pay off this lesson that you have in relation with the Saturn, the sign, and the nakshatra that these two planets are in. And because the North Node Rahu is, a new area where you're inexperienced in, you shouldn't expect to pay off all your karmas and all your debts that this particular planet is trying to make you pay in one lifetime. You shouldn't expect to pay it off in one lifetime. That's a bit unrealistic. But this is just my, amateur opinion and stuff. You see, with the K2 Saturn conjunction, it shows that you sort of fucked up. It shows that you were supposed to been pay off some type of lesson, pay off some type of karmic debt, but you didn't do it. You didn't finish it or whatever. So you would have to finish paying it off in this lifetime. But with Rahu Saturn, it shows that you're beginning to pay off this huge debt, that you have to start to pay the debt off. And as I keep repeating myself, due to Rahu's inexperience, you will be bound to make mistakes. See, there's a bit of a clash with these two. I know through books and through videos, astrologers or astrologer enthusiasts state that, Rahu is closely associated with Saturn. But if you really sort of logically break it down, when you look up the traits of Saturn and the kargas of Saturn and Rahu, naturally you should think there'd be a bit of a clash. Because Rahu, it wants to achieve things. It wants to conquer things. And it can sort of be impatient and want to do it now. It just represents like sudden events. And Saturn is patience, it's time, it's delays, it's obstacles. So naturally, what you can see with these two, Rahu wants to try to quickly conquer this planet of Saturn. It wants to quickly, pay off whatever lesson and learn whatever lesson that Saturn's trying to teach it. And it would be through the haste, the impatience of the North Node Rahu that gets it into a lot of fucking trouble. What is one of the things that I already told you before that Saturn is a significator of? It's a significator of imprisonment, isolation, separation. And what is Rahu? Rahu represents taboo things, and it represents foreign things. And also Saturn represents diseases and debts. So easily, one person can see that through Rahu's impatience of potentially trying to pay off whatever debts and lesson that Saturn is trying to teach it, one could just furthermore pull himself into the significations of Saturn. One could furthermore land himself in jail and prison or rehabilitation centers, or through trying to quickly pay off some debt, they end up with diseases and illnesses and getting sick, or financial debts or metaphorical karmic debts they end up falling into. They end up getting separated from the things of the house that this conjunction is placed in. So through trying to impatiently do the things of Saturn, you just furthermore get tangled up in the karmic knot of this conjunction of Rahu and Saturn. So, you'll tend to make a lot of mistakes very likely with this conjunction. And you will get smacked over the head with the fucking repercussions and lessons. Because Saturn is the lessons, the discipline. So Rahu is going to be getting disciplined through trial and error. In this lifetime, this conjunction shows that you have to master and deal with the things in relation to Saturn. You are very new when it comes to the things that Saturn represents. You're very new when it comes to dealing with your fraternal uncles. You're very new and inexperienced when it comes to dealing with elderly old people in general. You're very new when it comes to being patient and disciplined. You're very new when it comes to dealing with diseases and isolation. You're very new to being a servant to other people, serving other people. You could be, used to being selfish, but with this conjunction, it shows you might have to serve people. So you'll be fucking up and making a lot of mistakes with all the things that Saturn represents. North Node Rahu, it amplifies the qualities and traits of the sign, house, and planet that it is associated with. So when you do rush and make a mistake and you activate the natural significations of Saturn, they will be amplified due to Rahu amplifying the qualities and traits of the house, sign, and planet that it is associated with. So what is the other things that you can see with this conjunction? I already sort of leaked out a little bit that could happen, which is, you gotta remember, Saturn is a servant. And Saturn, so like a politician too. Rahu, a good, well-placed Saturn and North Node Rahu in a person's chart can make them a phenomenal politician. I remember reading a Mark Boney book, the astrologer, for anybody who doesn't know who the hell he is. Probably the #1 student of K.N. Rao. I remember reading one of his books, and he did a study and listed a number of examples of people, of maybe political figures, people, the chart of people who are political figures and gave prominent focus on the placement of the Saturn in their chart to show that, you know, Saturn can make someone a great political figure. Because Saturn's servants. What do political people do? What do people who are senates and congressmen and or maybe even lawyers and presidents, vice presidents, all these other positions that I can't think of and pronounce off the top of my head, they're supposed to serve the people, serve the country, serve the city, serve the state, whatever. But, you know, they typically do it with their money, with their resources, with their influence, and in a suit and tie most of the time. But you really see that with the Rahu you really see it with the Rahu Saturn conjunction, because Saturn is the servant, but Rahu is the illusion. Rahu is the extravagant things. So Saturn is making Rahu, you know what, you're gonna have to serve this. You're gonna have to be of service to this house or this thing or whatever. And Rahu's like, well, I gotta serve other people? And he's like, fine, if I gotta serve people, we're gonna do it my way. Or if we're gonna serve people, we're gonna do it on a grandiose scale and level. So this conjunction, you know, of course, if it's like in the 10th house or something, 10th or maybe 9th, 10th, 7th, and maybe 9th could make someone maybe like a great politician with this conjunction. I say the 10th house because obviously 10th house is career. I say the 7th house because 10 places from the 10th house is the 7th house. The 7th house also represents, you know, marriage and relationships, luxury, vehicles and forms of transportations like a yacht or just a limousine or something. And I say that because 4 places from the 4th is the 7th. But the 7th house also represents, you know, dealing with the public, dealing with the masses. Because of 10th from the 10th is the 7th. Yeah, the 7th house is also looked at for fame. Why do I say the 9th house? Well, the 9th house, you know, is originally ruled by Jupiter. And the 9th house can represent, you know, the teachings of a father or father figure. It represents professors. And the 9th house can be associated with belief systems, which is essentially like a law. You have a bunch of people, they vote on what they think should be enforced as a law, and then becomes enforced. It's just a whole bunch of people who share the same beliefs, when it comes to something, and then they enforce it, and they make it a law. So that's why I say the 9th house could also, with this conjunction, probably make someone inclined to be a great political figure. But yes, this conjunction can make someone a great political figure. Or you could just want to build like some huge, you can have a business or corporation, and it could be a nice fancy corporation or job, and you serve other people. You know, I can't really think of a great example, but in general, any company, any business, no matter how fancy they are successful in where they at today because of us, because of regular hard-working middle-class Americans. They serve us, and by serving us and fulfilling the needs that we need or desires we have and want, we end up making them rich. It's a symbiotic relationship. They serving us, and you know, the benefit of them serving us is that it puts them on a higher status and pedestal. So that's what you could see with Rahu Saturn conjunction. These people could desire to be very maybe entrepreneurial and could maybe really benefit from serving other people. But them serving other people also benefits them. It's not like K2 Saturn. I mean, it's not like K2 Saturn, which would probably be more so charity and non-profit stuff. No, Rahu Saturn is more likely to serve other people, but they fucking benefiting off of it. It's not like some fucking community service hours and shit. or some janitorial work. More than likely it isn't. Another thing that you can see with this conjunction is that you might serve people who could be like foreigners. You know, you could serve people who are foreigners, or you could serve people and work for people who might be in rehabilitation centers and jails and prisons. Because Saturn is the imprisonment and Rahu is the foreignness. So you might be desiring to maybe build some organization that could help a cause for some people who live in a whole nother country, like Africa or whatever. You could want to serve someone who lives in another country, help someone that lives in another country with this conjunction. Ain't really too much more that I can think of off the top of my head with this conjunction. You know, I'm gonna go double check my notes to make sure I am not missing nothing. But it appears that I am on point. So yeah, I'm gonna just wrap this video up. In a quick little nutshell, this conjunction is going to teach your ass to be patient. And depending on the house, sign, nakshatra that this conjunction is falling into, this conjunction will, it could probably produce diseases or illnesses. Or it could land you in jail, land you in rehabilitation centers, separate you from something. If you maybe, you know, your actions, your inexperience, they could land you in these places. You could be a great politician potentially with this conjunction. And this conjunction just shows that you will likely not pay off all the karmic debt that you need to do in this lifetime. You're just beginning to do it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope this video gave you great insight and clarity on what to expect when these two come into conjunction in one's chart. Thank you for watching.